Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. Love is in the air. If you are thinking of honeymoon destinations, you are in store for today's episode. But before we jump into places to go to celebrate your nuptials and commitment to a new chapter of life, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're very welcome. Hello, Will. Hello, winners.
Hey. So you felt a little romantic when you're like, you know what? I think I want to talk about honeymoon destinations. I'm like, Nicky.
Why do you think that? It's because I always listen to clients.
Yeah,
I realize that more and more people are contacting the agency for the honeymoon, and I'm like, you know what? Let's have an episode on this because I know, that's a very important time of people's life. Like minute of silence for them. Yeah, I'm not married, never been, never will, and it's very important for them to just spend some time with their new wet and go in a very special place that they hopefully didn't go with their ex-spouse and
that would be awkward
and figure out a way to have very strong memories with the new husband and wife.
I think they say the wedding is for the family, the honeymoon's for the couple, and so and there's so many different destinations, and it's funny, year in, year out are the hot honeymoon destinations. So, as you're getting inquiries from people who are looking for honeymoon destinations, what sort of places are you hearing that maybe are the standard ones, but still hold strong?
Absolutely. No, so you have different, budget category, of course. So you have the classics are, I want to go to the Maldives. It's a big budget, but it's a classic one. Why? Because they see on TV that something like wonderful, magical, Bora Bora, Maldives, things like that. All right. So this is one, but it's very high cost budget wise, and you need to fly there. It's it's far. So it's a journey. It's a journey. So, but it's definitely one of those that I hear the most. Some people don't know really about pricing, and I come up with the pricing. You're like, yeah, I know. Skip the wedding piece. Just do that, and you will be able to afford it probably a lot more than to spend $40,000 for a wedding. Anyway, I digress. So that would be one. They are, when you have less budget, but still want the sunshine, the beach. Of course, we live in Florida, so people here are used to it. But when I have clients, of course, up north or northwest and Midwest, and so going to Dominican Republic, Mexico, Jamaica, Costa Rica, all those places are places that we hear coming back a lot. All right, so this is a lot more affordable. For people who are not living in Sunshine State, that's definitely a place that is popular. But when you go to those kind of islands and countries, you have different style of resort that you can look at. One who is very popular, and they are really good for honeymoons and things like that, are brand like Sandals, for example. So Sandals, adult only. And you can go, they will prepare something special for you for your honeymoon. You can also renew your voice, for example, is a bit different, but it's something very popular as well. Sandals have a great package, very affordable, where you can go renew a voice and even have up to 12 people for free that can attend your reception and ceremony and everything like that. So there are some perks. So Sandals is one who is extremely popular for that as well. Now, Sandals has tons of different resorts, all right? Like in all the places I just mentioned. It's important to talk to a travel agent to understand which one to go to, because some you may not have the same experience as others. It's like when I mentioned brand of a cruise line, it doesn't mean because you like the brand that you will like all the ships. It's the same with a brand like Sandals. There are very different levels of different Sandals. So very important to talk to one of us in order to understand how to do it. But that would be the most popular destination, should I say.
Okay, awesome. No, that's good. And then what are some destinations that maybe aren't always on the tip of the tongue from people, but you think are ones they should consider?
Absolutely. So going to Europe, everybody knows Paris. Like I'm not a fan because I lived there for a while. So that's definitely one of the reasons. But Paris is magic. When you want to take a picture at the Eiffel Tower, it sounds magical. Maybe it's more a place when you propose, I would say. But it's also a place with high demand for people going on a honeymoon. They want to do a tour in Europe, but they definitely want to stop in Paris or they want to stop in Italy. I know you want to mention something later, but it's also very, very popular. But something to think about, cruise may also be a great option when you want to experience different places without having to drag a luggage left and right. You go to, for the first time, for example, as a couple, you want to go to Europe or Asia or Africa or South America. Do a cruise. You will have amazing experience, things that you never saw before, be able to take picture in every different places and have that hanging on your wall for the next 20 years if you last that long. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Sorry.
There went the romanticism.
but yeah, so you can definitely have more experiences, and that's always what I'm looking at for my clients. I mean, do you want to have a location that you will see it's a wow effect from begin to the end for the 6, 7, 10 days that you're going to spend there? It's going to be beautiful, but always the same. Or do you want to have a different kind of destination experience during a period of 7 to 10 days? Then I would strongly suggest to go to Europe or any other place I just mentioned, where you can experience Spain, Italy, south of France, Greece, Croatia, for example, in 2 weeks. And then you can trigger that. You can target that differently. For if you don't have 2 full weeks, well, you have like 7 days, 10 days. We can trigger that and said, oh, you want to do more Spain, Italy, or you want to do more Greece, Croatia, for example. So we can always modulate. Or if you're more a connoisseur of cruising, you can do a river cruise, for example, and go have a wine tour for your honeymoon. That's pretty cool when you go across all France, going to Switzerland, and every day you have wine tasting. That would be a fantastic experience. So there is for everybody, but if you don't ask, we cannot help you. So that's really how it goes, and it's also a lot depending on the budget. But I always said, if you can spend $30,000-$40,000 for the wedding, which is for the family and friends, you should be able to spend at least the same for you and your spouse.
You would love to think. Yeah. So yeah, no, for sure.
What about you? Because I talk, and I know you may also have experiences or know people who went different places that you didn't mention yet that you would love to share with the audience.
Well, you mentioned this one, but it was in a group with others. I'm hearing a lot of people going to Croatia, and so that's a destination that seems to be a hotter destination than normal. So certainly could work for a honeymoon as well. I was just going through, so I figured as preparation, because I know you're more well versed in this, not from going on many honeymoons, but just because of the work you do. But I went to brides.com. I figure, because let's face it, the bride is probably going to have a heavy influence
100%.
on this. So I've never been, so I'd love to hear your take on the Amalfi Coast in Italy.
Amalfi Coast is one of the most beautiful places in Europe, or maybe in the world. So it is in the west side of Italy. So it's around 3 hours, 4 hours from Rome, south of Rome. And you have on the coast there, you have the beautiful rocks. The beautiful picture that people take from Amalfi Coast. What's very known is the Capri Island, who is there as well. So you can take a boat and do a day tour, a day pass, on a boat, or take a private yacht as well. That's a lot of option there to actually have. Usually the IG, the Instagram, influencer always want to go to Amalfi Coast so they can have a day on the yacht that they just rent out for the day, and they can take 1 million picture, and that's going to be their posting for the next 6 months, literally. And that's very, very known. I sold actually a couple of influencer to go over there and schedule their yacht with their captain and everything like that. So it's a non-miss. You cannot miss when you go there. It's a little bit more pricey than other places, maybe if you go in Italy, but it's worth it. It's a place like no other. I sold it recently to a couple for their 25th year anniversary, and they wanted to experience something different. I mentioned that when they came back, they were like on cloud nine, and they directly booked something else in Greece for next year already. So this is definitely a location that you have a lot of different location to take picture that will be, people will have a wow effect immediately when they see it. So Amalfi Coast is a big yes. For people who saw White Lotus the second season, so that was in Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
So Sicily is not Amalfi Coast, but when you look at the rock, the little road when people were, like driving in a Vespa and things like that, that reminds me a lot of Amalfi Coast. So it is the same style, the rocks, the Mediterranean on the side, and the atmosphere reminds me of that. So if you're not sure about it, you can Google it, or you can watch White Lotus season 2,
there you go.
and it's gonna be the same kind of feeling with Amalfi Coast.
Yeah. No, very good. A place that we were at last year, Turks and Caicos.
Oh yeah, but again, those are if you do a cruise, for example, the Caribbean. I know for Floridian, it's probably, oh my God, I've been there a million times. But for people who are actually, like out of states, who rarely go to the Caribbean, this is a must do. So you do a stop there. The water is transparent.
Oh,
you remember we were
beautiful.
on top of those rocks, and then you could literally see the rocks under the water and the fish pretty much. So it's gorgeous, great to do scuba diving and things like that. And yeah, anything that feels paradise is great for a honeymoon. So that's definitely something to think about and to take into consideration when you're thinking about your honeymoon. Definitely.
Here's another one in the top 10. This one surprised me. Not that it was listed, but that it was listed in the top 10. Scotland. Thoughts on Scotland?
What did I say? Ireland, Scotland are a gem. And when people want to go to Europe, they usually said, Nick, I want to go to Europe. Where? Usually Paris, Spain for Barcelona, Madrid, Italy for Amalfi Coast, Florence for Tuscany, Rome, Venice, and Greece. Usually those are the main place where people want. When it's someone who never been to Europe, I usually love them to go to Ireland, Scotland first. Why? It's first of all, the closest to fly to. Secondly, the language. Language. Yeah. But they will see something that they cannot see anywhere else. Like the castles.
Bagpipes?
The castles. Yeah. Of course, the food will not be as, high, amazing as south.
Yeah. Right.
You will not have
Italy,
a paella,
Spain,
the pasta and all of that. Yeah. It's going to be more blunt. But the architecture, the history, the in Scotland itself, that's all rocks, also high rocks, and you have pictured the difference that you don't have the same weather that you have in Italy. But for people who love horse, for example, to go horseback riding, Scotland is probably one of the best places to go. If someone loves horseback riding, we can have like a tour that people will be literally horseback riding for like 3-4 days during the day and have the most amazing experience. They're, on the horse in the beach, on the horse on top of the rocks, on the horse like in between castles. Like you have like that experience to have. But if you're not into horses, but you just like to travel and experience these in luxurious coaches and stop in places, we can take care of that as well. But I would say it's not one of the first places that I heard people want to go. But if brides.com say so, I trust that it's the case.
I got a top 10. Yeah.
But it's definitely a place I always recommend people to go, because people are usually surprised when they come back. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, I never thought that it was possible to see something like this.
Braveheart. Freedom.
Exactly.
Go. Here's another one that surprised me. Never been. Tanzania in East Africa.
Yeah, I never been, and in all honesty, I never sold it. So I cannot talk too much about it. But it's definitely a place that it's, when you see when you see jungle kind of videos on Facebook, TikTok, or things like that, with like gorgeous lodges, like in great, usually great sunsets, that's usually Tanzania. So it's the east side. You have like you don't have the ocean or things like that, but you have those sunsets on top of the safari kind of style. So this is pretty cool. I've never been. I've been to Zanzibar, which is close by, but I've never been to Tanzania.
Okay. Another hot destination have been hearing more and more people going to Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland is, first of all, Northern Light. That's something that a lot of people call and ask to be able to see. What's important about Iceland is to know when to go, because you will have a few months a year when it's dark all day. So of course, don't go those times. Yeah. But when you can go, you have the scenery. It's you can only see it in Iceland pretty much. So we have tours for 5-6 days is more than enough. You can do the tour of the island and be able to see everything pretty much. But you have a long distance between each stop, and it's usually in the snow. So it's like you can see maybe the distance is not that big, but it will take you a couple of hours because you cannot drive. It's not like a highway when we just go 80 miles an hour or something. So it's a bit different, and it's the beaten path and in snow. So, but it's just the landscaping is outstanding there. People usually don't go just to Iceland. They go to Iceland and do a cruise, or they go to Iceland and they fly to Finland, Norway, Sweden, or even Denmark, or even Scotland, depending how long you have. But you can easily do Ireland, Scotland, and then you just fly to Iceland, which is not far, and then do like a few days in Iceland, and you will be amazed by what you saw in 2 weeks' time. So that's definitely I don't know about honeymoon, but again, honeymoon can be anything. Yeah. The most crazy that I ever booked was, the most crazy. I'm just not crazy, but it's something out of the norm. Someone wanted to go to Yellowstone.
Okay.
And I had, for a honeymoon, someone went to Yellowstone. So they went to Bozeman, they went to, all that place there, and seeing buffaloes and things like that. The honeymoon is not something that you need to do for other people. You need to do for yourself. So if it's something that it's on both your bucket list or, on the wife's bucket list, let's do it. Right. She will be happy. You'll be happy. And you have souvenir.
Yeah, marriage tip, happy wife, happy life. So for sure.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
For wine enthusiasts, obviously Napa Valley, France, Australia, sometimes underrated. Any other places you would recommend for wine if they wanted to do something that involved a wine tour or tasting on their honeymoon besides those places?
I would definitely do France.
Yeah.
For that, I would do France. I mean, the river cruising in France, when you have a stop on every vineyard, it's just mind blowing. You can literally taste from anything, red wine, rosé, anything in France that you want. And again, it depends of your taste. I have some people that I know, they love the South American wine, the Chile wine and stuff like that. Well, you go there, and you can do a wine tour in South America. That's the beauty of this, is that you can really, tailor the honeymoon for the person based on what they love and like. So you can literally do what you want. Some people want more activities for the honeymoon. Some people want to be separate from the world for their honeymoon. Anything is good as long as you know what you want and you have a budget. Once you have those things, we can always tailor, because you don't have to leave the country to go on a honeymoon. Like I mentioned, like Yellowstone, for example.
Right.
But you can do an Alaska cruise. It's something. You can go to a city you've never been and always dreamed of, and you spend a few days there, and then from there you do something else or something like that. So the budget is important, but you can literally put anything anywhere. We just mentioned the most commonly asked for the agency and what we found on brides.com in this case, but it's literally what you want. Whatever you want, it's important. Nobody else should have a say on that.
One place people should maybe think deeply about, which kind of has a romantic connotation, but I know you're not a huge fan, is Venice.
Yes. Go to Vegas. It's going to be cheaper. I'm kind of serious. I know it's sacrilege for some people who love Venice, but it's very overrated. I mean, I've been sending tons of people to Italy. Like Italy is one of the top places that the agency is selling to. And I always say the same thing. Unless you have a very particular reason why you want to go to Venice for X, because you're a fan of Michelangelo and whatever, that you want to experience something, or that's what's important for you. If it's just because it's you have to go there because you're in Italy, save your time and just do more of Amalfi, more of Florence and Rome. More of Tuscany. Sorry, Tuscany is what I meant. And do that, because you will have a lot more pleasure staying there longer than to go northeast to Venice. Venice, I only recommend when people want to sail, and then if Venice is one of the places they want to go, I try to sail off of Venice or have Venice be a port of call for their cruise, so they see it. But very rarely, one time that I remember very well, that the person said that was fantastic, they loved it. All the other times, they literally said, I should have listened when they decide to still do it, because that was the least favorite part of the trip. Mm-hmm. Because it's literally... it's water all around you, and like those cathedral and stuff that you can see in so many different places in Spain and Italy. You have those cathedral, you have those monuments, you have those architecture in a lot of different places. The only difference is that you have water around, and you can do a gondola tour. I was quoting actually recently someone who was flying into Venice to do a cruise. And just they of course they want to experience, so they stay a night or 2 nights prior to the cruise, which is fine because you're there anyway. So I have no problem with that. Just to go from one part to the hotel, so from the airport to the hotel, you can do it in gondola. $350 per person.
Really?
This is ridiculous.
Wow.
And that's what Venice is all about. Let's just make people pay to go that gondola in a very dirty water, smelling very bad. Don't go in the summer, because it's gonna be awful, an awful smell. You need to be there to realize. So I would not feel like it's a place for honeymooner.
Yeah.
But again, if you're leaving from there to go on a cruise, totally fine, and you see it, you take pictures, and you saw it. Yeah. But myself and other people very clearly, and clients very clearly, feel the same way. So pay attention in that. Something I didn't add based on what you said: Croatia. Croatia is a gem. Croatia is literally one of the places that in Europe that people speak the least about, and is just mind-blowing gorgeous. So Croatia is also cheaper than other places because it's Croatia. But if you go to Dubrovnik, Dubrovnik is just an amazing city that can be easily like a place in the same category of some amazing cities, or even Amalfi Coast in some places, where it's the same. It's just another country, and it's close by. Italy, Croatia is very close. But people who go there and have a stop for a cruise, for example, they always come back and say, this is something we didn't know. And it's always when it's about Croatia. Or when you do like a river cruise and you stop in Croatia, it's like, oh my God, what is that here? And that's what you hear. And people are extremely friendly. People are gorgeous, men and women. They're just beautiful people. And very clean. I mean, it's a really, really nice a country to go. And if you have, right now I'm building for a group of around 30 people for a yacht, 7-night yacht around Croatia. That's going to be a mind-blowing experience.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like it.
And it's going to be cheaper than if you do the same, a lot cheaper if you do the same in Italy, for example.
That's amazing. Let's see. I have one more, just because this one kind of caught my eye. It's not one you hear a lot. Morocco.
Ooh, yeah. North Africa. Morocco, it's also very known for their architecture. The mosque, of course, Muslim country. So you will see things like that. That's very lively. It's a very lively country. And when you go to Marrakesh, which is the capital, you will see things that you see only in Morocco. So I don't know, for people who've been to Disney and Epcot Center, you can see when you go to Morocco, you can see the style is very different. But people are usually very friendly. It's a very welcoming culture. Couscous, if you like couscous, of course, that's the best couscous you can have is over there. And it's just across Italy, across Spain, you know, like, so you can cross from South Europe to North Africa. It's not far at all. And Morocco has beautiful places, also a lot of desert. So you can do like camel, you know, like ride and things like that. So it's different. If you think Aladdin, if you think Aladdin, you think Morocco.
Okay,
that's what I would say. If you know,
do you get
Aladdin.
3 wishes?
I wish.
I wish for 3 wishes.
I wish for 3 wishes. No, and I would say the last one, because we're on time almost. I would say Switzerland is also a place that I would suggest to do for a honeymoon. Switzerland by train, you know, in those glass train, so you have like a full view top to bottom. I mean, not the bottom, top to the side on Geneva or different places. Like you will be mind blown of the kind of landscape that you will have if you go to Switzerland. And I can see that being a place where people would like to have their picture taken for their honeymoon. So Switzerland is probably also one of the place I would have no problem sending people to.
There we go. You heard it here first, winners. So any last tips or things people should consider when thinking about honeymoon destinations?
I would say it's none of my business, but spend more time in the quality of your honeymoon compared to pleasing a bunch of people that you may see once a year. And that would be my last word. But if you can do that, you will have a lot better memories and it will be worth it.
There you go. There you have it, winners. So again, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. Also want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode and sharing some interesting destinations to celebrate, which would hopefully be a lifelong memory in a positive way. So that's the hope.
Awesome.
All right. That'll do it for this Wanderlust Wednesday. We will see you next week, winners. Take care.
Bye, winners.
Bye.